Let's Get to the Points is brought to you by Seats.aero. Coming up on Let's Get to the Points.
We're going to talk with Kay Haulani about her recent trip to Cancun at the Secrets Impression Moxché. We want all the details.
Oh, okay. I 100% recommend this property. It is amazing. The food is so delicious. And a wonderful thing about staying here was that we asked our butler to make a bubble bath for us.
So did you actually get in the bubbles?
I didn't, but Vic did for the gram.
I just want to add that I stayed at a Marriott property in the Maldives and I didn't have to ask for a bubble bath. They did it without me asking. No big deal.
Hilton does that too, no big deal, so you know.
Bubble bath for Shy.
You don't win this one, Miguel.
I'm trying.
Try harder.
Now, let's get to the points. From passion for points, it's Serena. From points to travel expert, it's Kay Haulani. From travel sergeant, it's Miguel. From Nicole's Travel Tips, it's Nicole. And from Seat to a Suite, it's Mitch Shannon.
Hi there, and thanks for joining us on Let's Get to the Points audio and video podcast, where we bring you the very best in tips and tricks in the world of miles, points, and travel. I'm Mitch Shannon with the very best Instagram and social media content creators in everything points, miles, and travel. First up, from Passion for Points, it's Serena.
Hi.
From Points to Travel Expert, it's Kay Haulani.
Aloha.
From Travel Sergeant, it's Miguel.
Hey, what's up?
And from Nicole's Travel Tips, it's Nicole.
Hi guys, how are you?
Before we start, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and wherever you watch or listen. The video and audio versions are also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at Let's Get to the Points. Also, we love connecting and chatting with you, so drop us a DM on any one of our social media channels. We're going to do it. Let's get to the points. As we get started tonight, in just a minute, we're going to talk with Kay Haulani about her recent trip to Secrets Impression Moxché in Cancun. But I want to start with the sponsor of our show, Seats.aero. I've had a couple of friends and family tell me how much they love their new Seats.aero subscription they've signed up for with our discount promo code. Seats.aero is sponsoring our show for the next couple of weeks, and we've got a great offer for all our viewers and listeners. And this deal is not going to last forever. Miguel, I know that you are a big fan of Seats.aero.
Yeah, that's right. I've been talking about Seats.aero for a few episodes. I spend a lot of time on there just looking up trips that I might want to take in the future. Recently, what I was looking at yesterday was actually I was using their Qatar QSuites finder. Over the past few weeks, their QSuites finder has not shown any availability on American Airlines. There has been no availability that you can book with American Airline miles. But what I love about it is that they're even showing is what is bookable through Virgin Velocity. So I didn't even know this loyalty program existed. I think it's based out of Australia. Apparently with this Virgin Velocity, apparently you can book Qatar QSuites with Virgin Velocity. And that shows you award availability. Now, using the dates that you find through their QSuites finder through Virgin Velocity, you can search those dates either through British Airways or through Qatar Airways itself to be able to book them through them. So even though American Airlines isn't showing anything, I love Seats.aero because it's showing you through this other program that I didn't even know existed. So Qatar Airways is going to be adding a third daily flight between New York, JFK, and Doha that's supposed to start in late October. And they just loaded this into the system. So what that did was open the floodgates for you to book this with points. So I went on Seats.aero and I looked at the dates available that it was showing through Virgin Velocity. Then I went back and I confirmed that those were bookable either through British Airways or through Qatar itself. Now, most of those dates are gone departing JFK, but there were still plenty of return flights from Doha to New York. So those went by pretty quick. There's not that many left. So again, Seats.aero proved very useful in, showing you what dates were available. So you don't have to manually search through Qatar or through British Airways. All the dates are available. It just showed you in one page all the dates that were available between that route. So it's pretty awesome.
So I love Seats.aero, and specifically for the text alert features that they have. And if you're looking for Qatar Q Suite availability, you can always set up a text alert. So I'm going to show you here how to do that. So one of the things that I'm using Seats.aero for is to monitor for trends with Lufthansa first class availability, specifically from Frankfurt back to San Francisco. I have a trip planned for this winter, and we are ending our trip in Europe. So I'm looking at the possibility of flying Lufthansa first class back home. I'm going to show you how to set up an alert like this. So you go to Create Alerts for specific routes and dates, choose SMS for text alerts, and this is only available with the Pro version, and we have an exclusive promo code available for you to get the Pro version. I then choose Avianca Life Miles. The departure airport is Frankfurt. Arrival airport is San Francisco. I'm going to choose any date here, also only available with the Pro version. Then I'm going to choose first availability, and then under advanced filters, I check only direct flights. You can also choose number of seats, max points cost, and specific carrier if you like, and then create alert. And this is what a text alert will look like when it gets triggered. And then I verified that I could see that seat available on Life Miles, which you can see here. So a note about alerts: once an alert is triggered and Seats.aero finds that availability for you, that alert will expire. So you'll want to create that alert again on Seats.aero if you want to continue to monitor for that specific route.
Oh, Serena, that is such a great walkthrough. Thank you for doing that. This promo code is not going to last forever. So here's how it works. Just use our code LGTTP. Just remember, let's get to the points. LGTTP. And it's going to give you two options, either $2 off your first month only, or the better deal is to sign up for a year and it drops the price by $20 to $79.99. Don't wait. Our promo code's not going to last forever. That's LGTTP for 20% off. Now we're going to change gears a little bit, and we're going to talk with Kay Halani about her recent trip to Cancun. It looked like you had an incredible time at the Secrets Impression Moxché in Cancun, and we want all the details.
Oh, okay. I just got back today. I got back to Hawaii about 5 hours ago. So we're fresh off the boat, I should say, but it's actually the plane.
Not the yacht.
Not the yacht.
Fresh off the non-rev.
Non-revving it, yeah.
Oh, dear.
And we 100% recommend this property. It is amazing. The food is so delicious. And most of the time, it feels like there's no one around. Whenever we wanted to eat at a restaurant, there was availability to eat there. It's a short ride to the hotel. It's about 40 minutes long. And when we arrived, the door opened and we were greeted with a cold towel. And that just set us in the mood to get ready to be in what we call vacation mode. We put our vacation selves on and try not to worry about things and just settle into where we're at. After that, we met our guide. He took us around the hotel on a little tour to explain everything. And going into these big properties, it's kind of overwhelming at first, especially when he's walking by restaurant after restaurant. And we're like, where are we going to eat next? How are we going to eat all these places in 2 days? You know, and you're thinking about the plan that you want to take when you get to these hotels. Luckily, we have 2 butlers assigned to us, and every day we would get a list of the things that were happening that day. So events, what time breakfast was, where to go for breakfast. So you can go there without doing a lot of planning because your butler will show you what's available.
Okay, Halani, tell us how you booked this resort.
I booked this resort for 21,000 points when Hyatt had a devaluation. So at that time, at the beginning of this year, I didn't know what day we could actually go on. So I booked 4 reservations. I canceled 3 of them, and this was my 4th and last one to try for 21,000 points a night.
What is the current rate?
It's a category F all-inclusive resort, so that is the highest category of resorts within Hyatt. The lowest rate is 42,000 points a night. The mid-range, which is the standard rate, is 50,000 points a night, and for 58,000 points a night, you can get a room there on the peak nights, which means that the hotel is quite full, so they're going to raise the rates.
Now, Kay Halani, we all know how much you love to hoard points, but I understand that you were ready to shell out some big points bucks to go for another night, that it was that good. Is that true?
Yes, that is true. So we were looking into staying another night, but the flights didn't match up coming back to Hawaii, and my husband would have been late for work. But we were ready and willing to pay 42,000 points a night, even though we only paid half that much for a hotel. And I'm the kind of person where we have slept at the airport because I don't want to get to a hotel between 11 p.m. and 12 at night and get up at 4 or 5 in the morning just to catch a morning flight.
Okay, Halani, I think you get the prize this week. Like, I think I'd rather stay at one of those AA hotels than sleep at the airport. You win.
I recommend booking at least 2 nights minimum to stay there. 3 would be wonderful. The property is split into 2 sections, the Impression Moxché by Secrets and the Secrets Moxché. We stayed at the Impression side. This side is the property where you have access to 2 additional restaurants. And if you stay on the Secrets Moxché side, you don't have access to these 2 restaurants. And the name of these restaurants is the Celio Rooftop and the Seaside Beach Club. At the Seaside Beach Club, you can get lobster, steak, shrimp and lobster ceviche. So I think that's why we're paying more points to stay in this side, along with some of the other benefits that's given at this hotel.
Kehaulani, how did you like your room there?
Our room was very nice. It was modern, clean. I'll show you what it looks like here on YouTube and Spotify. We had 2 soaking tubs. And a wonderful thing about staying here was that we asked our butler to make a bubble bath for us. So he came that night and filled up the tub with bubbles. We had a great view and we had an ocean view room.
So did you actually get in the bubbles?
I didn't, but Vic did for the gram.
Ooh, can we see that?
Here, I'll show you guys here. But usually, he loves bubble baths and he would take one, but we had to go to dinner and we wanted to go to 2 restaurants.
I just want to add that I stayed at a Marriott property in the Maldives and I didn't have to ask for a bubble bath. We came back from dinner one day and it was made with flowers and stuff. So they did it without me asking. No big deal.
Hilton does that too, no big deal. So,
Bubble bath for us, guys.
You didn't win this one, Miguel.
I'm trying.
Try harder.
We're in Maldives this week, so let's see what happens.
So tell us about some of the restaurants that they had there, Kehaulani. What was all included in your stay?
All the food is included except this one restaurant called the Tesadaro. But the food is top notch, 10 out of 10. Every single thing was delicious. Every shrimp we ate, and we ate shrimp, I think, at every restaurant we went to every day. It was grilled perfectly.
Okay, Kehaulani, I'm going in a few months. Can you tell me the top 3 things I need to make sure I do when I'm there?
Pack bug spray.
They actually supply bug
That's
spray. They'll give you some if you don't forget it, and they have sunscreen over there too. Book your car in advance. The next tip would be look at the type of restaurants that you want to eat at. Go on the app. I'll show you folks on the YouTube what the app is. And in the app, it shows the menus for the restaurant. This will save you a lot of time deciding what you want to eat that evening because the time goes very quickly. My third tip is that when you arrive at the airport, there are people waiting there right before you exit to go in the shuttles. Do not speak to them, just pass by them. Because when you get to the hotel, there is a area in the Secrets Moxché section right at the main entrance. I'll show you here in the video. And what they are doing is they are selling some type of a timeshare thing. We didn't do the tour because we didn't have time to do it. But if you do this tour, you're going to get $200 where you can apply that $200 to a spa service or even different things at the property. So don't get scammed and stop at that area in the beginning because they are going to tell you to pay $40 and you can get your money back. And this is the way that they trap you into going on this tour.
So it sounds like you had a great time. Would you return and would you spend 58,000 points per night there?
I wouldn't spend 58,000 because you can get it for 42 and there's a lot of availability and I see it on Max My Point, but I would definitely spend 42,000 points a night to stay here. Another technique would be if you wanted to save some points and try the impression side, you could stay 1 or 2 nights over there and then move on over to the Secrets Moxché area that is 35,000 points a night because you're going to have access to all of the restaurants. And when you stay at the impression side, you can just go to those 2 restaurants and then move on over and pay less points at the other hotel.
It's a good idea to split it.
Vic and I had a wonderful time at this property. We love the food. It is the best food that we have ever had at any hotel. We 100% recommend it. Now, Nicole, tell us about your hotel in London.
We had a layover in London, so we decided to stay at the Hyatt place at the London Heathrow Airport. And normally, Hyatt places offer free breakfast to anyone staying there. But apparently in London, free breakfast is not available to everyone at Hyatt places. It's only available to globalists. The breakfast was not that good. The pineapples were very sour, and it's £18 per person at this hotel. Just a heads up for anyone staying at a Hyatt place in London, the breakfast is only free for globalists. And this is not the only Hyatt place. The Hyatt Place East London also has the same setup where breakfast is only included for globalists. I think everyone needs to know that because we're all used to getting breakfast at Hyatt Place, right? Just a hot tip for you guys. What about you, Miguel? You had something very interesting to tell us.
So I wanted to talk about British Airways and how they're selling Avios. So they have this new thing they started this summer. It's called the Avios Balance Boost. So this Avios Balance Booster is really just another way for British Airways to sell points. Now, normally, it's not always the best deal to buy points, but in this case, it could make sense. And I'm going to give you some examples where it could make sense for you to buy points. Now, through this Balance Boost, you can buy points for as little as 1.2 cents per point. Now, when does that make sense? So this Avios Booster lets you pretty much boost or increase the Avios that you've earned in the past 30 days by a multiple of 1, 2, or 3. You could have earned those points by flying, or you could have transferred those points from a credit card into your British Airways account. So you're going to get the best rate by doing the multiple of 3. So if you transfer, for example, 10,000 American Express points into your British Airways account, you could boost those by a multiple of 3. So if you transfer 10,000, multiply that by 3, you would be buying an additional 30,000 points at 1.2 cents per point. Now, what I like about this Avios booster is that there's people that might not have 25 cards like Mitch, so they might not earn as many points. This is just another way for you to be able to redeem points and cash for a redemption. So one example is like this Qatar QSuites availability that opened up this week. Now, you needed to redeem 70,000 Avios to fly from New York to Doha. So what this means is that if you don't have the 70,000 points, you could transfer as little as 18,000 points from either Chase, American Express, or Capital One, and then you would multiply those or boost those points by 3 to get 54,000 points. Now, it's going to cost you $648 to boost it by 3. So now you have an out-of-pocket cost of $648 to get those 54,000 points. But now you have the 72,000 required. So, it's up to you to determine whether Qatar Airways business class is worth it for 18,000 points and $650. Now, you have to keep in mind, you're still liable for those surcharges and fees, which is maybe $100, $200, depending on the route. So you're still looking at an out-of-pocket cost of maybe $800, $900, but you're talking about $3,000 or $4,000 flights. Another example I can give you is how you can redeem British Airways Avios to fly from the West Coast, including Phoenix to Hawaii for 13,000 points. Now, if you don't have 13,000 points, if you have as little as 4,000 points and you boost those by 3 at a cost of $144, you would now have 16,000 points, which is enough for that redemption. And you would still have 3,000 points left over. Is 4,000 points plus $150 worth that flight? That's up for you to decide. But this is just another way for you to be able to redeem a low amount of points mixed in with a little bit of cash, and for you to be able to do some of these redemptions for people that don't earn tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of points. And it's just a nice program to have that option.
Wow, so that sounds like a pretty good deal there, Miguel. I'm gonna have to talk to you about that. Maybe I'll bring it up in the next segment because I booked something today, first class on Qatar. So maybe that could help with those British Airways Avios. I don't know. We'll talk about it. All right. Thanks, everyone. It's now time to move on to our weekly recap. It's now time for our weekly recap where we share our tips and insider lessons with you from stuff that we've recently booked. So we're going to start with Miguel, and I hear you booked something with Scotland Yards. Is that right?
Yeah, so I had a points advance reservation at the Great Scotland Yard Hotel in London, and I finally had enough points to transfer over from Chase to Hyatt. And so I sent a message through Twitter asking them to apply the points because I was going to try to apply a suite upgrade award. So I applied the points. It's all good now, but I guess there's only one particular type of suite that's eligible for upgrades, which is a Kessler suite or something like that. That's not available, so I don't have a confirmed upgrade, but they told me they requested one on my behalf, so hopefully get an upgrade. If not, that's fine. So one of the reasons why I wanted to stay at this hotel is because it's part of the Unbound collection, and there's currently a promotion for World of Hyatt members where you get 20% rebate on your points back. So even though I pay 25,000 points per night, I'm going to get 5,000 points back per night. I've never stayed at an Unbound collection hotel, so this also will count towards my Hyatt Bingo, the Brand Explorer promotion that Hyatt does. So that's what I booked this week. What about you, Nicole?
So remember that really cheap El Salvador trip that I booked with Spirit. Well, looks like my luck has run out. So we were on a whirlwind tour. We were coming back from London and we were going to go to El Salvador. So when we got to the airport, a lot of flights were delayed. We got on the plane, taxied out on the runway. And then I guess they were like, JK, we're taking you guys back. Deplaned us and then canceled our flight. No one was more happy than my two offsprings. They wanted to come home. They wanted to go to sleep. My son said, I told my grandmother that I didn't want to go and that I was tired. And my grandmother told me that I should pray about it. And I prayed that they canceled the flight.
They must have been praying at the Vatican.
Totally. Yeah, they totally did.
So he's like, I think now he's convinced that prayer works. While I was kind of sad about it, it was okay. They needed a break, but I was also sad that I had two friends that I invited on this trip and we were very excited to go. But I think we will end up going again. I will take another chance with Spirit and we'll probably just go as girls together. So I ended up canceling that and Hyatt was gracious enough to refund me all my points. Even though our check-in time had passed, they had no problem and they refunded the points immediately. That's why I love Hyatt. I'm not sure if Marriott would do the same thing, but Hyatt does that for its amazing members. Kehaulani, tell us about what you booked this week.
Okay, so we just came back today from a trip from Cancun, and on our way back to Maui and Honolulu, we needed to book the Hyatt Place, Denver. And at that hotel, we had kind of a weird check-in. So I needed to talk to the manager. We ended up laughing together. And she said, go over there and pick any drinks you want from the shelf for your stay. So advocate for yourself or just make friends with somebody. If you have a question that's not being answered properly, you never know what can come out of it. That wasn't my goal, to get a free drink. And I actually told her, no, that's okay. But she says, no, go ahead. And that was really great. Then we stayed at the Hyatt House in Sacramento. So we booked that hotel as soon as we got off the plane, right before we got in the van. That's how we do things sometimes. And that's what we love about Hyatt, is that you can just go on there, like when the plane lands, boom, 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 book your hotel, call the shuttle, and you'll get picked up. That hotel ended up being a 3-week-old hotel. And I'm going to show you here on YouTube or Spotify what it looks like. It had a brand new smell. We were so excited. I asked the boy working if he could give us an upgrade to a 1-bedroom, and it was a standard looking Hyatt house room, but it was so nice that it was brand new. What'd you book this week, Mitch?
So right before we started our show tonight, I just finished booking Qatar's A380 first class from Perth to Doha. We've got our trip booked to Melbourne in January, and a few weeks ago, I talked about how I used the British Airways transfer bonus to book our flight from Melbourne to Perth. Well, I was shocked to see that there was an actual aircraft change, and I was alerted to this by Seats.aero as well. It seems that Qatar has moved one of their A380s on this route from Doha to Perth, and we've always wanted to fly first class on Qatar for a very long time. In fact, the only aircraft that you can fly first class on is the A380 with Qatar. There is no shower on board, but for that long of a flight and the unknown about how much longer Qatar is going to keep their A380s around, I jumped on this and I decided just to book it. I booked it via British Airways. So with the current transfer bonus going on, it normally costs $105,000 to book, but with the bonus, it was only 81,000 Amex membership points and about $126 per person, taxes and fees. One of the most difficult first class products to fly out there, and with so few of the A380s remaining at Qatar, I just had to jump in and book it. I still got to figure out what I'm going to do with my other booking, so stay tuned for that. Funny thing, I didn't even discuss this with Pulrit at all, so all this effort may be for nothing. But with the recent tongue lashing that I got for not booking us on Etihad first class apartments, hopefully this will make up for that huge judgment and error that I made for not booking Etihad first class. So what do you guys think? Did I make the right decision just doing this without getting approval?
Yes, of course.
I do it all the time.
A wise one.
Absolutely.
Remember, they're going to see those emails. Congratulations, your reservation is this.
So stay tuned. I'm going to need your guys' help when trying to figure out the rest of this. So I'd really appreciate that. Now it's time to move on to Ask Us.
Hello, greetings from Canada. My name is Josh, And I just want to thank each and every single one of you guys for creating the podcast. The golden nuggets that you guys give makes everybody that listens to it look forward to each and every single entry that you guys give. My question is regarding a Hilton redemption that I have. Mine in particular is regarding the Maldives. I have a sister who's in her mid-30s and I have 2 senior parents. Now, I want to take them, but I'm the only person that has status with Hilton. Now I have 2 other people traveling with me that are adults as well. So how do you guys manage that? You guys are the ones that are experienced, and I know that you guys travel with more than just your kids. How do you guys figure it out? My other question is regarding the Hilton 3-night certificates. They are only good for double occupancy, but does that mean that you can't have 4 adults in the room? Again, you guys are the experts, so looking forward to your guys' response. Again, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Josh, for joining our show all the way from Canada, too. Okay, gang, Josh wants our help, and he's requesting our expertise with Hilton, how we get the free breakfast for our families, and any Hilton tips that we've got. So going to start with Kay Halani. What do you have for Josh?
Okay, Josh. So if you want breakfast for the 2 additional adults, you're either going to need to pay for it, or I suggest emailing the hotel and ask them if they're willing to give complimentary breakfast to your parents as well. Sometimes if it's a special occasion, they may extend that benefit. Or because with 1 of 3 credit cards, you can get gold status with Hilton. What's your next suggestion, Mitch?
Yeah, hi, Josh. First, I just want to talk about how easy it is to get status with Hilton. I'd say that getting diamond or gold status with Hilton is probably one of the easiest statuses to get. Super easy to get it with the Hilton Aspire card. Miguel's going to talk about that in just a minute. Porat and I, we both have that card. So if we're traveling with his mom or his brother, it makes it even easier to get the breakfast for 4 people between 2 rooms that we will get. And then we'll just add myself to one of the rooms, and that's how we divide it up. Other ways you can get the status too. Gold status is what gets you the breakfast with Hilton. The Surpass and the Hilton Business Card both come with gold status, and the annual fee on both of those cards is $95. So depending on where you're going to go and what breakfast you're looking for, might be easy just to get the annual fee cards of $95, and that way it'll pay for the breakfast as well. Also, I'd warn against trying to bring 4 people along with you to fit in a room that only allows 2. In the US, you're probably not going to have any problem with that. Depends on where you go. But internationally, they do check passports and they keep a close eye on who's in what room, especially if you're headed to locations like the Maldives. I mean, you arrive on a yacht and they know exactly who you are when you get there. So I wouldn't try to pull that.
We don't all arrive in a yacht, Mitch. Some are in a regular boat. Some are in a plane. It's not always a yacht. Mitch is just used to the yacht.
It's how I roll. It's how I ride.
It is how you roll.
Miguel, what are you going to tell Josh?
So if I was going to Hilton in the Maldives, I'd probably go for the Aspire card, which is $450. And it might sound like a lot, but breakfast in the Maldives is expensive. So when I went, I stayed at the W, which is a Marriott property, but breakfast was about $50 a day per person. You could see that even a $450 annual fee card like the Aspire can offset those costs significantly. Now, with that $450 annual fee card, you're getting $250 Hilton Resort credit, which you can use at one of these properties for some of your other meals or activities that you might do. Aside from that, you're also going to have automatic diamond status, or your sister or one of your parents, whoever gets the additional card. And diamond status will make you eligible for upgrades. You might get a better upgrade with diamond status as well. So I could strongly consider that. So I think that's a good card. What do you think, Serena?
Josh, can I just say that your family is so lucky that they have you planning this wonderful trip for them. I mean, oh my goodness. I hope they are so grateful when they eventually are in the Maldives and enjoying it. Good job, Josh. You're a good one. So I love this question because not only does it apply to 4 adults, but also 2 adults and 2 bigger kids in a room. Like many properties all over the world consider 13 years and older as an adult, which really screws up with your redemption process. So since you're focused on Hilton, I'm going to run down the list of Hilton properties in the Maldives that you could take a look at. So my first choice for you is the Conrad Maldives. and you can actually fit 4 adults in one standard room. You'd be booking the beach villa, and that's for 120,000 points per night. So that's one room with 4 adults for 120,000 points per night. My second choice for you is the Waldorf Astoria Maldives. That standard room goes for about 150,000 points per night. And if you were to book this online and you select 4 adults, it will actually let you book the standard room at 150,000 points per night. However, I want to add a caveat that the hotel officially only allows 3 adults and 1 child in the room. So I don't know if they're going to honor the reservation if they find out that you do have 4 adults, but that is something that you might be able to get away with. Otherwise, you could get 2 rooms for 150,000 points per room per night there. And then my third choice for you is the Hilton Maldives Amangiri. For this one, they only allow 2 adults per room. The standard room is called the 1-bedroom beach pool villa, and the standard room is 110,000 points per night. And so at this property, you're going to have to get 2 rooms. There's also a 4th Hilton property in the Maldives, and that's a Curio collection property. I wouldn't consider this one because with 4 adults, they're going to want you to spend many, many points per night. So you can cross that one off your list. With regard to breakfast, I think Conrad Maldives is a great option because not only do they allow 4 adults in a standard room, but complimentary breakfast will be for 2 people. But if there is someone else in the room that has gold or diamond status, they will allow all 4 of you to have free breakfast. So get one of the cards that one of my fun co-hosts recommended earlier, and then have 2 of you with status so that all 4 of you can get the free breakfast every morning. Nicole, can you please tell Josh how can he find award availability at these properties?
At the Maldives, availability is few and far between, but we do have a tool you can use to set alerts to find availability. Max My Points is great for setting alerts so that you can be notified when the rooms become available. So Serena offered several different options. With Max My Points, you can set more than 1 notifications. Check the show notes for the promo code so that you can use it to book this wonderful trip you're planning for your family. I hope you have a wonderful trip to the Maldives, and please send us pictures so we can know how it goes.
Yeah, we love pictures and we love the Maldives, don't we?
Yes.
We do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Josh, for sending us your video questions. So easy for you to be on our show. Simply drop us a line on any one of our social media channels, or you can email us at letsgettothepoints@gmail.com and we'll answer your question right here. All right, we're about to wrap up, but before we do, we just did another Instagram poll asking for your questions. Watch your screen if you're watching on Spotify and YouTube. Here we go. Best short, quick responses. Jess Chan 01 wants to know, what's your favorite family-friendly destination that you've been to? Miguel.
I'd say anything that has like a water park, water slides. My kids love that. So it doesn't matter what resort it is, as long as there's like water activities, they love it. And they will be in the pool all day. What about you, Nicole?
For my teenagers, I think anything all-inclusive, going on a cruise or an all-inclusive resort where I don't have to worry about how many Shirley temples they're getting. They don't have to worry about how many Shirley temples I have to pay for. Something with activities that are catered towards teen and not just younger kids. And they love the cruise because they have a teen club on cruises. How about you, Kehalani?
I'm going to go with Disneyland. It's just so much fun over there. I'm a Disney person. The kids love it. What comes to mind is I want to go the opposite too and say that I don't recommend Yellowstone Park. We took our kids there when they're teenagers and our daughter's in the back. Where's the internet? Where's the internet? So I'm going to pick Disneyland. How about you, Serena?
So I will say the Bahamas. We went last summer. We had a great time. There are 2 large water parks there at Baha Mar and Atlantis. My kids still talk about swimming with the pigs. They loved it. I think they like the Bahamas better than Disneyland. That's definitely a place that you should check out. How about you, Mitch?
Yeah, your trip to the Bahamas looked incredible. I saw it on your Instagram. I would recommend there's a Park Hyatt in northern San Diego. It's near Oceanside. And what's really cool, they've got a water slide and they've got 2 king bed standard rooms that you can book on points as well. It's a great property, so check that out. Okay, next question comes from Paparazzi Howlin, and they want to know, how do you all budget for food on trips? Miguel.
I really don't. I mean, I guess it's just a balance between, if we want to do something fancy, then, the rest of the trip, maybe we're doing like street food or something like that. But we just love going out and trying different food. So we don't really set a budget for food. What about you, Nicole?
All right, get ready. Hold my beer because it's my specialty.
Yay.
Wow.
So we like to stay at places like Hyatt Regency because most of them have a club lounge. We usually get up late for breakfast and we eat breakfast around 10, 11. If the breakfast is good enough, we usually, steal some of the snacks. Let's not say steal. We usually take some of the snacks
Sneak.
so that we have some later on in the afternoon. And we either have a big lunch and light dinner or light lunch and big dinner. And if you're at the Hyatt Regency again, some of the club lounges have enough food for you to make a meal out of for dinner. So Hyatt Regency, that's my secret to budgeting. How about you, Kehalani?
I'm kind of going to go with you, Nicole. The only thing is I gave up on the sneaking of the food because I'd bring back muffins to the room and they would just sit there. So now I just give up on it altogether. Yeah, but we usually go to breakfast at 10:40. If it closes at 11, 20 minutes for her closing, we kind of make sure that we're not the last table there, even though we usually are. And I used to be a waitress before, so don't come at me with how rude that is. We check with the servers first if it's okay. We kind of judge the situation, what they're doing, if they're cleaning up. We go ahead and eat enough for breakfast and lunch, and then we just have a dinner. How about you, Serena?
So I love that strategy. At places where the food is expensive, for example, I just talked about Bahamas. We stayed at the Grand Hyatt Baha Mar. The food is notoriously expensive there. So what I did is I brought a whole suitcase full of snacks and food to hold us over to make sandwiches, for lunchtime, maybe even dinner, just to save money when we're traveling. I don't do that all the time, just sometimes. How about you, Mitch?
For us, we plan on about 2 meals a day. So we try to find a hotel that we've got status with for the free breakfast that helps reduce our cost. And then, we may snack or eat in the lounge if they've got like an afternoon happy hour. But Port and I, we only really eat about 2 times a day. So for us, we keep the costs low by incorporating that free breakfast into our day. All right, final Instagram question comes from our good friend Heather. Quit touching. She's back.
Heather.
Hi, Heather.
And she's got another question for us. When you start planning a trip, do you all look for a tour company or just Google to see what you can find? Miguel.
Most of the time, just Google. I look up like sample itinerary depending on how many days I'm going to be there, or just go to Google Maps and see what are the top places to go, top restaurants, top rated. And that's usually just what I do. What about you, Nicole?
To me, I'm a YouTube junkie. Before I head to any destination, I've probably watched 10 YouTube videos deep. I usually check for Choose video because if he's there, he knows how to attack the place with a fierce budget. And then I check one of you guys' Instagram and I gather information from there. How about you, Kehalani? What's your resource?
Okay, so when we used to travel as a family with our kids, I was itinerary, do this, do this, do this. And now that our kids are out of the house, we have been winging it. We will show up without plans and just go with it. Serena, tell us your strategy.
So I am a big fan of Facebook groups. So let's say you want to go to Japan. So you're going to go into Facebook and search for Japan travel groups, for example. I only join the groups that have tens of thousands of people in it and also have multiple posts a day. And I learned so much of things and activities and things to do just from scanning what people post. Same thing with all kinds of destinations. You just have to be careful because you don't want to fall for any scams. So don't send money to people over WhatsApp or, if they DM you. I always book through a verified operator, either they're Viator or TripAdvisor. So I use Facebook groups and I love it. How about you, Mitch?
For me, I've had a lot of bad tours over the years and I've learned to really do my homework, kind of like you, Serena, and research what I want to do and see. The easiest way, you can go to Viator and book something. But for me, I like to try and find a tour operator that I can identify with that can really give me a more customized tour. We are not big fans of group tours, so we do everything that we can to find the private ones if possible. All right, please keep your questions coming. We love reading each and every one of them. We love answering them here on the show. So please follow us on Instagram. That's it for now. I want to thank thank all of our hosts, Serena from Passion for Points.
Bye, everyone.
Kay Halani from Points to Travel Expert.
Aloha.
Miguel from Travel Sergeant.
Bye, everyone.
Nicole from Nicole's Travel Tips.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
And I'm Mitch Shannon from Seat.aero. Remember to like and subscribe to this audio and video podcast wherever you find us on social media. Thanks for watching and listening. Watch for our next episode soon.